What's good, peeps? Thanks always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. All right, let's do this. This week in boxing episode, I'm going to say 12. I think it is 12 or 13. I have missed a couple, but I do think it's 12 or 13. Before we start, apologies as well for the cracking, that kind of cracking sound in the mic recently in the last couple of videos. I don't know why that is. I've just tested it out again and fingers crossed it is okay. It was okay when I just done a quick test. It might be a case of the battery is starting to run out. Although it does go in the phone, it does require one of those very small batteries, so maybe I just need to get a battery. Going forward, I know I need to improve on the sound anyway. I'm not happy with the sound, to be honest with you, especially when I do the one-on-one interviews. I hate the sound. Remember, I am recording off my phone, so you're kind of limited in terms of what you can do. So ideally, I do want to get a Rode Pro mic, but that's going to be for a camera, right? So yeah, I did get one of these the other day. Someone recommended one of these for me, a Zoom H1. I have tested it out and the sound is a lot better. So although I'm not using it for this right now, I will use this going forward for the interviews until I start filming with a camera. So again, apologies for that cracking sound. It does piss me off as well. It must piss you off because it pisses me off. Trust me, the last couple of videos I didn't even want to put up because of that little cracking sound. So fingers crossed it isn't too unbearable. All right, let's get to the results. O2 Arena first, over there. Josh Taylor beat Regis Prograis by a majority decision. I can't remember the scores, but I think it was 114 apiece, then 117, 112. The middle one, I can't remember. I think it was 115, 113 or 115, 112. I can't remember. But in doing so, Josh Taylor is now the IBF and WBA champion, as well as the World Boxing Super Series champion as well. So he'll be getting a nice check in the post. I'm not quite sure what the amount is, but it must be close to $1 million, which is good. Well done to him. I am going to do a separate video on Josh Taylor, asking the question, is he a top 10 or top 15 at least pound for pound fighter? And we're going to name the guys that are in that and see if Josh Taylor can squeak in. Because a few people have been asking me, why is there no Brits in the top 20? Josh Taylor's in the top 20, but is he in the top 15 or top 10? We'll discuss that. On the undercard, Chisora beat David Price, 4th round stoppage. I know it's only David Price, but Chisora does look good, doesn't he? Looks good. Massive. Looks fucking huge. 18 stone plus yesterday. 6'1". He's going to be a problem for a few heavyweights. I said that on the video yesterday, and I'll say it again. He will be a problem for some heavyweights. Yeah, I don't know this new found Chisora, but looks impressive. I know it's only Price, and I know it was only Spilker, but regardless, he's getting the job done as he should do. Chisora normally, especially against fighters like Spilker, he normally kind of, I don't know, he just normally fucks about, doesn't he? But no, Chisora's looking pretty impressive. Someone did point out to me that in the post-fight press conference, he said he would fight Parker or Usyk on the undercard of Joshua Ruiz. I don't think he's got enough time to do that, but at least he's putting it out there. Lee Selby beat Ricky Burns. Ricky Burns just started too slow. I think Ricky Burns came on well in the second half of the fight, but I think Selby had already built up a lead. It just looked like, I'll be honest with you, a British level fight. I know Lee Selby was talking about wanting to become world's first double world champion, or something like that anyway. Didn't Kelzagi win a belt at light heavy? I don't know, can't remember. But anyway, yeah, Lee Selby ain't beating any of the top guys at 135. I like Lee Selby a lot, but I used to like him because of his elusive movement. And remember, he was called the Welsh Mayweather. He's not that anymore. So he'll get an opportunity, but he won't win. Okoli beat Eves and Gabo, 7th round stoppage. I thought the stoppage might have been a tad bit early, but regardless, Okoli is now the European champion after, what, 15 or 14 fights? Yes, we know people. There are some things people don't like about Okoli, but he's getting the job done and he's making it look easy against unbeaten guys. And Gabo was 24-0 yesterday. People might say, who is he fought? Regardless, he's 24-0. So he's confident, he's strong. Ngabo needs to go down to light heavy. It's funny because we're going to talk about Bertabiev in a bit. Bertabiev looks bigger than Ngabo, and Ngabo's a cruiserweight. He's too small for the weight class. But that's the problem, though. That jump between light heavy and cruiser is too big. So you get guys that are kind of stuck in the middle. Nathan Cleverly was one of those guys as well. So we'll see what Ngabo does. But Okoli wants a world title shot next or soon. If he gets it, I'm not going to rule him out winning it, to be honest with you, not at all. There's a few other fights on the card, but we're not going to talk about all of them. Conor Benn beat Steve Jamoye. What was it? Was it a fourth or fifth round stoppage? He got punished or got a point taken away because of a low blow, and then it just seemed to kind of piss him off, and then he just got the job done. I still don't know. I'm checking the mic because I'm still scared about the mic. I still don't know what the plan is. Maybe they might go the British title route now. Now they think that he's almost got his boxing kind of basics down to a T. But I don't know. Obviously, he's got the names. He'll find out. That kind of puts him into positions, doesn't it? Let's see if they go the British title route, because that's kind of where he needs to go now. Off to America. There were more fights on that card, but you guys will go and check the results. Off to America, Shakur Stevenson easily beat Joey Gonzalez. A lot of people thought, including myself, that would be a tough fight. He just completely outboxed him, if I'm honest with you. Completely outboxed him. I just watched it now. So he's now won the WBO featherweight title. That's a title vacated by Oscar Valdez. Pretty much a shutout. Defensively, Shakur Stevenson is very good. If you can't open up that defense, you're going to have a bit of a problem. So we'll see what happens with him. He's obviously called out Josh Warrington. Josh Warrington won a couple of weeks ago. Was it last week or a couple of weeks ago? This is what I was talking about when I said, can Frank deliver the big ones? I mean, can Frank get Shakur Stevenson to Ellen Road in hostile fucking territory? Shakur Stevenson wouldn't have fought anywhere like Ellen Road before. That noise, and it's horrible. Can Frank deliver that? Josh Warrington's up for the fight. Shakur Stevenson wants to fight. It's a unification fight between two guys, both unbeaten. Can he deliver? We'll see. We'll see. Fingers crossed he can, because that's a good fight to make. Also on the card, a prospect, Joshua Greer, beat Antonio Neves. I think he had to get off the canvas for that one. Scorecards 96-93, 95-94, 95-94. I need to watch that fight, because those scorecards, when it's that close, I need to see, did Neves win? But because Joshua Greer is a prospect, did he get the decision? I don't know. Another guy that people were talking about in America, and I've only just seen highlights, so I don't want to batter him too much, but this Albert Bell, a lightweight, 15-0, who beat Frank de Alba. I don't see what the hype is. Again, I mean, everyone, I guess, will go through their career where they have a couple of results that don't impress. Maybe that's just his, but we'll see. Also in America, it was quite a busy fight night. Erickson Lubin got a dominant win over Nathaniel Gilmore. Scores were 99-91 across the board. Good win for Erickson Lubin. He still looks kind of undersized, I think, for 154 pounds, but he's not going to make 147. Remember, he's only lost to Charlo. I think he's wheeled off 3 or 4 straight wins since then. He's a good boxer. I just wonder if he has the power to really put a dent in some of the real good guys in that division. There are some good fighters in the 154-pound division. I kind of wonder what's next for him. Maybe he'll look at Julian Williams. Obviously, Julian Williams is supposed to fight Jarrett Hurd. That fight's not happening because of the issue with Jarrett Hurd. I don't know what it is, but we don't want to talk about that right now. So I do wonder if that's a matchup. It's a world title shot. Lubin's kind of a name, and both of them will think they can win that fight, so that could happen. Also on that card, again, that card was packed, by the way. I'm not going to go through all the results. I think it was one of the biggest fight cards I've ever seen. I think it was like 11 fights, which is ridiculous. Robert Easter Jr., first fight, 140 pounds, beat Adrian Granados. Good win, right? Granados has been in there with some good guys. What I want to talk about, we're not going to stay long on it. This was a 140-pound fight. Granados came into the ring. And I like this. I like when we know this stuff. Granados came into the ring 167 pounds. He put on 27 pounds. I mean, that's nearly 2 stone. Think about that, people. In 24 hours. 24 hours. That's unbelievable. I feel like that should be illegal. Doesn't seem right. There was a fight card in Puerto Rico. Wilfredo Mendez defended his WBO minimum weight title, against Axel Vega. I say this, or I mention this, because it's weird. Puerto Rico used to be that hotbed for boxing talent. You think of some of the fighters that come out of Puerto Rico. He is the only male titleist they've got right now. I say male because they've got Amanda Serrano. Obviously, she's like a fucking 8-weight world champion. But in terms of males, he's the only one. And he's a minimum weight. Not disrespecting the smaller weight guys, but they're not going to get behind a minimum weight guy, are they? Let's be honest, they're not. Some fights happened the week before that we didn't talk about, or I didn't talk about because I didn't do a video about. Bertabiev, Vosdik. Bertabiev looked fucking ferocious in that fight. I don't get that he was behind in the scorecards. I've watched that fight 2 or 3 times now, highlights 4 or 5 times. I don't get it. I get that someone was on the back foot and someone was just charging him. Bertabiev reminds me of Khabib Nurmagomedov. I don't know why. It just reminds me of him. He just looks big, strong, powerful. He can box. I mean, the only saving grace for other light heavies that are coming up is that he's 34, so he might only have 3 or 4 years left, but frightening. Also, let's mention very quickly Josh Warrington, who got a second round victory over Takush. Hope I'm pronouncing that name correct. You guys know I always butcher names. I want to mention him because Josh Warrington's had a solid couple of years. To think that he beat Lee Selby, underdog, then beat Carl Frampton, underdog, then beat Kid Galahad. He did beat him, I think, by a couple of rounds. He wasn't an underdog in there, but it wasn't much more than 50-50, right? I mean, a lot of people had Kid Galahad as a potential winner in that one. And then he's had this as well. I mean, it's been a solid 2 years, very solid 2 years. So good luck to him, and fingers crossed he can get that big fight in America. Shakur Stevenson's a tough ask, but Shakur Stevenson's a defensive fighter. Josh Warrington, when he fucking winds it up, is an offensive fighter, and it could be a good defense versus offense. All right, that's enough of the results. What else have we got here? All right, let's go to some fights that have been announced in this last few days. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Matvey Korobov, that's been announced. Same day as Joshua Ruiz. Yeah, not that I don't think that'll put a dent in Joshua Ruiz, but just the same day. That is the co-main event. The main event is Jamal Charlo versus Dennis Hogan. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the winner of... If it is Eubank versus Charlo, I wouldn't mind that. Would you mind that? I don't think so. Gervonta Davis versus Gamboa. This will be Gervonta Davis' first fight, 135 pounds. Obviously, Gamboa is a vet. You never know. Gamboa's got a bit of pop as well. It's got a bit of pop. So we'll see what happens in that one. Undercard of that one, Badou Jack versus Jean Pascal. A good fight between 2 vets there. Badou Jack coming off that horrible injury. And Jean Pascal coming off that decent win as well. They fought the same person. And why is his name? I can't remember his name, but they fought the same person. So good fight between 2 vets there. I guess that shows the depth of the light heavyweight division, that no one's even talking about them. We just continually talk about Bivol and Kovalev and Vosdik and Bertabiev and some of the young kids. We forget these 2. These 2 could be a tough fight for anyone in the division. Pulev is back as well, November 9th, in a 10-rounder against Rydell Booker. Don't know too much about Rydell Booker, if I'm honest with you. What was the outcome of this Pulev shit? I know he got suspended, but what was the outcome with the lady? Was she suing him? Or was it just a case of wanting people to be aware of what he'd done? And is she still doing her mic thing, like reporting? I haven't seen her recently. All right, let's get to the news. Not a lot of news, if I'm honest with you people. I mean, I was going to do like this week in boxing and just cover all the news in the last couple of weeks since I've been away, but no point is there really. All right, let's talk about this World Boxing Super Series Cruiserweight final. Obviously, we had the 140-pound final yesterday. We've got the other one coming up with Inouye and Danair. I say the other one because I even forgot what weight class it is. But the World Boxing Super Series Cruiserweight final, which was the best matchup last time, it's almost been forgotten a little bit. It's got a bit tricky now as well. I don't know if you guys remember the semi-final between Glowacki and Bradis. So much controversy. It's almost like the ref was paid off in that fight. There were fucking elbows. There were punches after the bell. Bradis obviously went on to win that fight. Glowacki appealed it with the WBO, and they've agreed, and they've ordered an immediate rematch between Bradis and Glowacki, which is obviously a bit of a problem because the final is pretty much going to happen very soon, or should happen very soon, between Bradis, and Dorticus. So there is a bit of a confusion as to what's going to happen here. Do they do the rematch between Bradis and Glowacki? Do they promise Glowacki an immediate shot at the winner? Who knows? And to make it even more interesting, the WBC recently have ordered that Glowacki fight Makabu. I don't know if you guys remember Makabu, who fought Tony Bellew at Goodison, got smashed in a couple of rounds. They've ordered those two fight for the WBC title, which is vacant. So confusing. So Glowacki's got a few good options here. I mean, if you're Glowacki right now, you're waking up and you're not upset, right? You got potentially Bradis fight straight away, which I think should have happened anyway. I think the World Boxing Super Series fucked up on that one. If you don't get that, you're definitely going to get the winner. And if you don't get that, you get Makabu for the WBC shot. So either way, you're doing well. Let's talk Tyson Fury for a few minutes. Tyson Fury has come out and said he's only got 3 more fights left and then he's done with boxing. I did a video about this already, so we're not going to go too much into it. But if he's serious, I do think it's a good decision. You know, guys, I've said this, and if you watch the video, you're going to hear me repeat it again. I said boxing is a case of get in, get rich, get out, right? Get out with all your faculties in place. His faculties look like they're in place. He's getting very rich right now. We're going to talk about a bit more of his money later on in the video. So what's left, right? What's left? He's already beat Deontay Wilder for me. He's beat Vladimir Klitschko, 2 of the top dogs. He might beat Deontay Wilder again. If he does, then what? What's left, right? Nothing. So I think he should leave boxing. A fighter that's left boxing, obviously against his will, but has retired and called it quits this week was Ryan Burnett. A lot of people in the Q&As and sort of on a regular ask me, Adi, who do you think are the prospects in British boxing? He was one of them. And it's a shame, obviously, he got that weird back injury against Nonito Donaire, just a freak injury. Did he not come back on an MTK card? I feel like he came back on an MTK card, could be wrong, or at least was scheduled to come back. But obviously the injuries are too much. So Ryan Burnett, former world champion, I think double world champion, right? Has called it quits, which is a shame. That's a shame. Buatsi has ruled himself out of this weekend's fight with Blake Caparello. That's a shame. I wanted to see that fight. A lot of people weren't excited, but I think Blake Caparello is a decent fighter. I wanted to see him up against Buatsi. We're not quite sure that fight's going to be rescheduled. Hopefully it is. Eddie Hearn has said that Bacoli will replace him. It's funny, like it's almost like Bacoli, what is he, a light heavyweight? But Bacoli is a name now that will be added to the card. I'm not quite sure who he's going to fight. Bacoli obviously coming off that good win against Kevin Johnson. Wants to stay active, so he'll be added to the card instead, and he'll fight, I guess, some sort of Polish cab driver. All right, let's talk, and I've done a video about this already, saying let's delete the WBC. But the WBC have made, I think, a mockery of the sport this week by doing franchise champion shit again. They've done it with Canelo, and now they've done it with Lomachenko. So just to clarify, Lomachenko has been elevated to franchise champion, and as a result, the interim champion, Devin Haney, has been elevated to full champion. Yeah, go figure. The reason I want to talk about this is because I've been seeing some disgraceful comments recently that Lomachenko is somehow ducking Devin Haney. Lomachenko ducking Devin Haney. Lomachenko, who in his second fight fought for a world title, who all of his fights, apart from the first one, have been for world titles, is going to somehow duck Devin Haney. Like, whether or not you're a Devin Haney fan, I am, or a Lomachenko fan, I definitely am. All I ask for you is just use a bit of common sense. Why would Loma duck Devin Haney? Like, what's the reason here? You think Loma's scared of Devin Haney? Like, really? Like, come on, like, really? I think, like, really. Loma, scared of Devin Haney. Obviously, I see where people are getting this from, because it's coming out now, or at least the rumor is that Bob Arum spoke to WBC about elevating Lomachenko, blah, blah, blah. Lomachenko's a fucking fighter, people. A fighter. Full-on bred fighter. He's not scared of Devin Haney one bit. What's Devin Haney done that Loma will be like, oh shit, I'm scared of him? I mean, stop it. They also said that this is the WBC as well, by the way, that Dillian Whyte, if he is cleared by UCAD, I thought he already was, and it just wasn't being mentioned. I don't know what's going on with that. He won't be able to fight Deontay Wilder until 2021. At this point, Whatever lawyer Dillian White is using to help him get rid of the UCAD shit, he should turn that lawyer onto the WBC and say, legally, I want my title shot. I want it. I've been mandatory now for, I don't know how long it is, nearly 2 years. I want my shot. If he can't get that, then just fucking scrap the WBC and fight for organizations. Go WBA or WBO, IBF route. Do that. Like, fucking stop with this WBC shit. They also mentioned that Danny Garcia, we kind of know this already, but Danny Garcia will take on Errol Spence next. We are hearing, obviously, that car crash Errol Spence was in wasn't too serious, which is still kind of unbelievable. But we do wonder if Errol Spence will be out a bit longer, because they were talking about this fight being January or February. I doubt that now. We still haven't heard or seen, I don't think, from Errol Spence. So I wonder if that will be pushed back a few months to maybe, I don't know, what's a big boxing month? April or May. I do wonder if that will happen. Oscar De La Hoya is being sued for sexual assault and battery. This happened back in 2017. He's being sued for it now. What is it with, and I feel like this is an American thing. Well, it might not be. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh there. Why are you suing someone? Why do you want money when someone has sexually assaulted you and batteries hit you? I mean, they should just be going to jail. Like, why do you want some sort of financial compensation for it? Just send that motherfucker to jail if he has done anything. Obviously, Oscar De La Hoya is coming out and saying no, 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 which leads me to believe if Oscar's being sued, then there's a good chance he'll probably just pay someone off, the person in question, I guess, and that case will just be shut. Cecilia Brækhus has joined Matchroom. I didn't see this one coming, to be honest with you. She'll have her first fight in Monaco. I would like to go to one of those shows. They're not exactly fight fan shows, are they? I mean, it's ridiculously quiet there and everyone is sort of dressed in suit and ties, but I would like to go to one of those shows just to experience it. It looks like they are trying to, and it looks like they will get this super fight on with Katie Taylor. There are a few hurdles before they can do it. Obviously, Katie Taylor's got this fight against that girl from Greece, the champion. When is that fight? I can't remember when that fight card is. Oh shit, is that the one coming up? No, November 2nd? I don't even know when that is anyway. But she's then got Pursoon, who I think beat her. Then there's talk about Serrano. So there's a few hurdles, but I guess that's their aim. They're probably looking at that one at the end of 2020, start of 2021. That is definitely their aim. Talking about female fighters, Clarissa Shields tweeted recently that she's done with boxing and wants to go to MMA. I don't know. A lot's happened with her, obviously, recently, isn't it? The fallout with that Ivana Habazin. I think her brother's been charged, even though she said, I think initially that was nothing to do with anyone from her camp. Now her brother's been charged. That's kind of strange. No one from your camp. Yeah, and then I think she kind of took the tweet back and said she's not done yet. She's got a couple more years, but the aim in the end will be to go to MMA. Female MMA is just way bigger than female boxing. Fact, way bigger. I don't know if she's been practicing her ground game or any bit of kickboxing, but she'll need it. Isn't that easy? I know Holly Holm transitioned well from boxing to MMA, but she had a kickboxing background. I don't think Clarissa Shields does, so we'll see what happens with that. What else have we got? Last bits of news here. Anthony Ogogo has joined Pro Wrestling ranks. He's joined AEW, who have had a couple of shows recently, and they've done very well. I think there's a lot of old school wrestlers in there, like Chris Jericho's in there. So good move for Anthony Ogogo. I do wish him the utmost of good luck. I mean, this guy, fucking a bad luck follows him around. So I do wish him some good luck. He does deserve it. So hopefully that works out well for him. Eddie Hearn has come out and said that the KSI versus Logan Paul is a one-off and that he doesn't want to do celebrity boxing after this. We'll see. The numbers for this are going to be fucking enormous. 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 I can't, like, if this was a regular pay-per-view, so not DAZN, just because all the sign-ups, I don't understand it all a bit. If this was just a regular pay-per-view, I genuinely believe KSI Logan Paul would do over 2 million pay-per-view buys. That's how big it is. That's actually incredible. So I think Eddie Hearn, as soon as he sees the number, I don't know if he gets any cut off this. I'm sure he does because it's being promoted by Matchroom. He will change his mind. He won't want to admit it now because he is getting a bit of stick for it. He will change his mind. YouTube recommended me, I have to say that because I wasn't looking for it, a KSI, I think, promo in the lead up to this fight. It had been on YouTube for an hour. An hour, people. It had 1.8 million views. There ain't a boxer alive that's doing that. An hour. There ain't a boxer alive. So I'm even including Floyd in that. Floyd can't put a promo up and it's getting 1.8 million views in an hour. Sorry, it's not happening. This is incredible numbers. All right, we'll end on this one. Talking about incredible numbers. This is just a rumor, but I don't know. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Is that the phrase? I think it is. Tyson Fury's projected income for this little WWE run, $12 to $15 million. Now, obviously, he's come out and said he doesn't want to talk about this. I think even Triple H, who's like the president of the WWE now, has come out and said that's not true. But you don't just get that number from nowhere. Even if that number was half, so even if it was 6 million to 7.5, even if it, let's go further down, even if it was 3 million to 4.5, that's a fucking ridiculous number. So if he is getting anywhere between 12 and 15, you can fully understand why Tyson Fury would say, I'm done with boxing in 3 fights, right? I mean, he doesn't need to box. He's getting that kind of money in WWE. And I did say this the other day, is it a one-off or is this something long-term? If it's something long-term, cashing in, cashing those checks. All right, that's This Week in Boxing. I don't know how long that was. I think it was quick. Hopefully not. Peace.